Opened in 2019, P&G Live is one of the UK's newest major event facilities. Along with 48,000 square metres of multi-purpose event space, it's home to a 15,000 capacity, state-of-the-art arena.
Hi, I'm Rob Wicks, Managing Director at P&G Live in Aberdeen, responsible for the overall running of Scotland's leading entertainment exhibition and conferencing facility.
So Rob, this venue is vast and we can see how large it is. This arena segment of it is 15,000 capacity. And I haven't said it's something like 48,000 square metres in total. What's been your real point of focus, your real priority coming into this role?
I think if you look at it, Chris, the venue opened back in 2019 and kind of got off to a really exciting start. And 7 months later, the pandemic was on top of us. And that sort of honeymoon period, if you like, was cut somewhat short. This turned into a fantastic vaccination centre, but it wasn't doing what it was designed to do initially. So if you look back, we only really effectively had one full proper year of trading. So it's been about coming in to the venue to really understand, what's here, what are the capabilities, what can we do? Are we meeting the expectations that the City Council had when they first built the building 5 years ago? We're coming obviously on for 5 years. We're going to be celebrating our 5th birthday this year. And to look at how, we can build a vision for the future.
Hi, I'm Louise Stewart. I'm Head of Entertainment, Marketing and Exhibitions at P&G Live. I have been with the venue for 23 years, so at AACC before here. My role involves basically all of the content, driving all the content through all of the C&E, entertainment, exhibitions, banqueting, premium, ticketing, merchandise, just everything that's a commercial kind of entity within the venue.
Brilliant. And apart from selling, the big number of tickets, you've actually got a facility here to kind of support artists that are maybe on a earlier part of their career. You've got a smaller hall, haven't you? Can you just talk us through that facility?
Yeah, so this is a huge venue in a relatively small city. The population of Aberdeen is about 500,000 people. So for us, we recognised that within the city there wasn't a venue that really covered 2,000 cap. So our small hall does that. We can do 2,200 in there on an all-standing show. It has some production in there. It's got some PA lighting. We're just kind of looking at our backstage facilities in there just now to bring them up. But we did M.I.C.E earlier, sold that out this year, and we did The View as well, amongst other kind of smaller, more kind of tribute act shows, really just to test it out. And it's done really, really well, and there's a lot more interest in that. So we really hope to fill that gap in the market. The next capacity beneath that would be 1,200 at the Music Hall in Aberdeen, which is a great venue, but very, very busy. So for us, it's really just about having that opportunity for promoters to come and start smaller, and then hopefully we can build that momentum and get them into the arenas when they're on their way up.
What are the priorities in terms of maybe enhancements or the strategy going forward with the venue? Is there anything that you have in the pipeline to sort of change or adapt?
I don't think we're ever finished, and I think that's great. We've done quite a lot with our premium offering. When we first moved in, it was all boxes and it was all annual, and we decided that we really needed to have a different offering, something on an ad hoc basis, and people are always looking for a different experience. So we've changed that up. The small hall is obviously a good example. We previously thought that would just be for banquets and conferences, but actually we saw the demand, and we're actually just about to put new backstage facilities in there. So yeah, we're never done. We're always looking at new ways for how we can present ourselves. And I think looking at the sports market for us was definitely on the cards. We did Battle of the Brits, actually just off the back of COVID, which was a fantastic event. So full tennis court. We sold like 18,000 tickets over 3 shows, and the Aberdeen public just, loved that. And I think for us, it's about having a diverse range of content, making sure that we don't do too much of the same thing. As I say, it's a small city, it's a huge venue, but it's just about making sure that there's something for everyone.
In terms of the live music aspect of that, obviously that's an important part of your strategy, clearly. This space, as we say, is 15,000. I believe the floor alone is 12,000, which is
biggest standing floor in the UK. So, enormous potential. But there are times where one does feel a little bit like Aberdeen's out on a limb, certainly geographically. So I think there's some work for us to be doing with concert promoters, with agents, with artists, to really talk about why the venue has the potential that it does, not only in terms of size and capacity, but also in terms of its sustainability credentials and reasons that they should come up here, perhaps start their tour routing from up here and work their way down through the country, rather than thinking of working up the spine of the country from London north towards Manchester and maybe tagging on a show in Glasgow. Let's turn that round and think about maybe starting in Aberdeen, for example.
Great. And can you give me some examples of shows you've had up here that show the demand for live music?
Absolutely. Well, Jerry Cinnamon, Lewis Capaldi, you're talking 15,000 people in the building. We did 2 shows of Elton John, I think his 318th and 319th tour on his shows on his tour. They had 20,000 or just over 20,000. And interestingly, we saw more than 55% of ticket buyers for those 2 Elton John shows travel from non-Aberdeenshire postcodes. So people were travelling well in excess of sort of 70 miles or more to come and attend. So it shows people will travel. For the right acts, people will travel. I think we're building a really strong foothold in the sports market. We've had everything from the Harlem Globetrotters and Arena Cross in here to Andy Murray and Jamie Murray's tennis. We've got some fantastic events lined up for later this year with the Masters football event and the Rogue Invitational, which will be the first time that CrossFit and Strongman event comes outside of the US. So some really exciting sporting events that are building for the future. And, we're starting to build, I think, again, a strong profile with promoters to say, this is a state-of-the-art venue and you really need to think seriously about adding it to your roster.
Peter, this is nearly 5 years old, this venue, but clearly it's state of the art in terms of the production facilities. Can you just give us a bit of a brief rundown, really, of the kind of key highlights?
Fortunately, with us already operating the previous venue, AACC, we're able to identify the shortcomings of it and look towards the infrastructure that we would implement into this venue to bring it into to be one of the leading venues in the country. So we have a walkable grid in the roof with a 75mm air gap either side, so there's no need for walking beams or latchway systems or anything. Also, what we came to find was that working with loose shackles at height was also time consuming and a residual risk. So we introduced the use of snap baskets for touring productions, which are free for them to use. One, very efficient, saves a lot of time, but also there's no loose items handled at height. It's just a gated hook, so fine and easy for the touring productions.
Great stuff. I understand there's a tunnel as well.
That's heavily utilised in our exhibition business that we have, but it's still heavily used for entertainment. It means that all the multi-core runs can be done at walking height. We don't have to lift all the ducts leading to front of house like we all used to have to do. So it's nice and straightforward.
Great. And artists have used it, haven't they, to actually during productions?
Yeah, so it's sometimes used as a little shortcut for doing walkthroughs and things, keeps them out of sight and gets them round unannounced.
And obviously, having just flown in and it's in the airport only being less than a mile away, and obviously it's on a road network and train network, and it's very easily accessible. When it comes to load and load out, I'm presuming that this is very easy to get into. Can you just talk first us through how the sort of production side, load in, load out?
Absolutely. I mean, we only hear good things from people who do come. I mean, we've had everything from 3,500 tons of dirt in here for Arena Cross. We've converted our underground subterranean car park into stables for the Clydesdale horse show. It shows what's possible. I think we were the only venue on Elton's tour, or certainly one of very few, that were actually able to cope with his 30 Arctic lorries that brought all the kit for the show. So it gives you a sense, and you can see from the ceiling height that we've got here and from the access that we've got backstage, that it's very, very simply done.
From a promoter's perspective, what facilities are there around the venue to promote forthcoming shows or communicate with fans?
I feel like we do quite a lot anyway. We do a lot of out-of-home advertising, which obviously isn't in and around the campus as such, We do a lot at the airport, we do a lot in the city centre, but in the venue, we particularly focus on the digital side of things. So we've got a fantastic video wall. I think we've got over 150 digital screens. We're actually just about to invest in some more static sites as well across the venue for advertising. And, you know, through our Wi-Fi, through our website, through our social media, we do a lot of paid for social advertising as well. So for us, we know we have to fight a bit harder because we are up in Aberdeen. So we probably give a lot more, and we're very conscious that we should do that and we need to do that. And we're very happy to. And we see the results, we see the engagement.
You mentioned earlier sustainability, so I just wanted to focus on that for a little bit. Obviously, it's a pretty new venue, it's nearly 5 years old. I presume that sustainability was a consideration when it was designed and built. Can you talk us through some of the highlights in terms of the way in which that's been built into this?
Absolutely. Well, an enormous amount was done to start with in terms of the actual design. But I think we've probably, as a venue, we've probably undersold to date just how strong those credentials are. And when you combine the way in which the energy centre, for example, here on site was conceived and built, combine that with an anaerobic digestion plant that takes crop and agricultural waste, feeds the energy centre, and the energy centre then helps to power the building. If you look at that and then you think that in probably 5 to 6 months' time, that energy centre is going to be exporting hydrogen to power the city's fleet of hydrogen buses that will bring people to the venue, you start to understand the real potential and that kind of circular economy that exists from a sustainability perspective. We take part in a number of different initiatives. We're working towards our greener venue credentials. We're about halfway through that already. We tick a big box with greener meetings. We have a Guardians of Grub initiative, which is all about food waste from spoilage and plate waste. So working hard at that. That's right across the entire ASM group. And we're also working very closely with Positive Planet, who are a net zero consultancy, to look at our carbon emissions and to help event organisers to better plan their events and make sure that we can all meet the respective pledges and commitments that we've made in that area of sustainability.
And when it comes to making sure that the artists are comfortable backstage, you mentioned the dressing rooms, facilities are really nice. Can you just talk us through what there is back there?
Yeah, I mean, there's 8 dressing rooms and 2 larger kind of crew dressing rooms, all with like ensuite shower facilities. And then there's a big crew catering area, which is fantastic, actually. It's very spacious, very clean, very new. As you can imagine, there's 4 offices, all of different sizes, great for the touring kind of production guys as well. So yeah, people make themselves at home. It's a really nice experience, I think, for people that are travelling up here. You have to make it a home from home, don't you? I think that's all part and parcel of it. These guys are on tour for a long time, but yeah, they enjoy it. We always get really good feedback, and you know, we always make sure they have a wee dram before they leave as well. So that's important.
So that's it from P&J Live in Aberdeen, one of the UK's biggest and best equipped arenas.